Hello friends, it's been a hot minute, but I'm back for another random video, because why not? I recently graduated from Cornell with a bachelor's in biological sciences. I am pre-med, so basically my whole Cornell journey is taking a lot of science classes. And so today I thought that I would rank all of the classes that I have taken at Cornell. I'll go in the order in which I took the classes, so that way you can kind of see like what my schedule was each semester, what classes I was balancing with one another, stuff like that. And basically I'm just gonna tell you my general experience in the class, judging things off of my interest in the material, the professor, although I will not be naming names because I don't need anyone coming after me, and also coursework, stuff like that. As always, a disclaimer that this is literally just my experience in these classes. Everyone will have different experiences, so this is not me definitively saying that one class is really bad, one class is really good, whatever. And I'm probably gonna split up this video into two parts because I do have 39 classes or something to get through. So I think in this first part, I'll do my freshman and sophomore year, and then in the next video, I will do my junior and senior year at Cornell. But okay, let's get into it. So very first class we're going to talk about is Intro Bio Comparative Physiology, which is really just kind of going over organ systems and stuff like that. I truly have no memory of this class at all. I do remember it being very challenging, but I also struggled a whole lot my freshman year just because it was really hard for me to adjust to the level of difficulty of college when I didn't do any studying in high school and I could make A's. But generally, I do think learning about organ systems are really cool. I am pre-med, so I hope that that is something I enjoy since I'll be doing it a whole lot in my next several years of education. So I don't think it was overall that bad of a class. So I'm gonna say that she was pretty chill. Next class I took was Gen Chem 1. See, Gen Chem, I will say Gen Chem 1 was better than Gen Chem 2. That being said, I hated Gen Chem. I hated it in high school. I could not understand it for the life of me in high school. So having to do it at a higher level in college wasn't great. We did not enjoy her. She really wasn't a fun time. She was manageable, but meh. I'm gonna put it in the meh category because honestly, meh. Next class was Investigative Biolab, which was a very general intro biolab, use a microscope, and I literally don't know what else we did in that class. I do remember that we made posters and we made a scientific journal article, which I thought was really cool. That was really my first exposure to the process of academic scientific research. So that was really fun. This class was really easy. It was a super easy A. It was very boring. We weren't allowed to leave early if we finished our material for the day. So a lot of the time we would just sit there for an hour, which was a big waste of time. Overall, it was chill. I had a really cool TA. She was very sweet and I loved her a lot. I would honestly take it again. It was a lot of fun. Next class was one of my PE credits. If you don't know, at Cornell, you have to take 2 PE classes. The first one I took was Women's Self-Defense. This class was so much fun. I am not someone who likes physical activity at all. I was dreading my PE classes, but this class was a lot of fun. It was taught by 2 kind of older women and they were so badass. We were yelling. There were only women in the class, so it was very empowering in that way. And at the end of the class, we got to break wooden boards, which was really cool. And I took this class with 2 friends, which was really nice. So I wasn't just in it alone. I got to literally kick and scream and yell with my friends for an hour. So honestly, this was a top-notch class. I do genuinely wish that I could take it again. It was a whole lot of fun. Last class I took my first semester was a freshman writing seminar. So at Cornell, the equivalent of a writing class are these writing seminars that you take freshman year typically, and you have to take 2 of them, and they're in a whole bunch of different subjects. So the first one I took was about Greek mythology. See, I vaguely remember Greek mythology from my childhood and thinking it was cool. So I was yeah, let's take this class because I don't remember a whole lot of Greek mythology. So this will be a fun class to take. No, I was not cut out for Greek mythology. Absolutely not. I am not that kid anymore. This shit was terrible. It was terrible. We read the Iliad and the Odyssey. So boring. So boring. I literally hated this class. So we're gonna hate it here. Moving along to second semester freshman year. Most of the classes kind of the same vibe. So then I took second semester of Gen Chem. I remember this one was worse than Gen Chem 1 because we had group assignments and the professor was worse in this class than in the previous class, and I just didn't vibe with her that much. So I'm gonna say I hated it here. I found those freaking group assignments so stressful. So stressful. They made me feel dumb. I really couldn't contribute to my group because I really didn't understand Gen Chem at all. So that was rough. Also took the other intro bio class that is cell and development. So this was literally cellular biology and embryogenesis, which I hated. I'm honestly gonna say I hated it here. I just had a rough time my freshman year, which doesn't help in my perception of my classes because things just weren't going well. I do remember, yeah, I am not a cellular biologist by any means. Unless you're talking about neurons. Neurons I can get behind. Literally any other cell, really most other organ systems, I'm like, I think it's fine, but like not necessarily my cup of tea. So it was not a fun time. I also took my second freshman writing seminar, which was like writing and sexual politics. So it was basically like a feminist kind of writing class, I guess you could describe it. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. I had the best TA. She was, or not TA, I don't remember. I think she was a grad student who was teaching the class, but she was adorable. I literally loved this woman so much. It was a lot of fun. We got to do like a creative thing for our final project, so it wasn't literally just like writing essays. I got to do like a music video and tied it to one of the books that we read that semester, and that was a really, really fun project. We like talked about poetry, we talked about novels, so it was like a pretty diverse class as far as like the things that we were reading and discussing. So honestly, it was a lot of fun. I would take it again, and I thoroughly enjoyed all of the essays that I wrote in that class. It was fun. I also took Intro to Sociology. I don't remember why. I came into Cornell wanting to be a psychology major, and I think I was thinking about a sociology minor or something. So I was like, let me take this class. Honestly, the class itself, it was fine. It wasn't anything special. Honestly, it was kind of boring, but I feel like it's also like a necessary class. Like, I think everyone should take a sociology class and like a psychology class because they're like very important things to be aware of in society. But I will say, the professor for this class, chef kiss, she was incredible. She is the first Black professor that I have seen in my life. So that was a very exciting thing for me to witness. And she was iconic. She was so sweet. She was literally an angel. Just because of her, I would take it again. I loved her so much. And then the last class I took this semester was Intro to Social Psychology. So this is when I started taking those psych classes for my potential major. Honestly, this class was This is one of the classes that made me realize that I don't want to be a psychology major because I'm far more interested in like the neuroscience and like the actual biology and like neural mechanisms behind why we do certain things than social pressures and social structure and how that makes us do certain things, if that makes sense. This class was fine. I don't know. I'll say she was pretty chill. Like, some of the stuff was interesting, but overall, like, again, like, not quite my cup of tea, but that's okay. So now we're gonna get into my first semester of sophomore year. This is when my life started putting itself back together. I was no longer extremely sad. We were kind of thriving. I had a great friend group who was very supportive. So I finally like started to find my footing at Cornell, which was very exciting. First class we're going to talk about is Elementary Arabic 1 at Cornell. Because I'm in the College of Arts and Sciences, we have a language requirement, and so I had to take 3 semesters of a language. I chose Arabic because I really wanted to challenge myself in like trying to learn a whole other alphabet, and Arabic calligraphy is very beautiful. So I said, hey, let's do it. Why not? And I took this class with my friend, and this class was a whole struggle. It was very stressful, but it was also really exciting, and I really enjoyed Arabic. I had a great professor. He was so kind and patient with us. Arabic's a very hard language. It has sounds that we don't have in the English language, so it's very hard to adapt your throat and your mouth and your vocal cords to make those sounds. But he was great. He was really patient, and I I thoroughly enjoyed this class. I absolutely would take it again. And like when I was able to write the whole Arabic alphabet within 2 weeks, that was such a confidence booster. I was like, wow, I can really learn anything if I put my mind to it. Okay, this semester I also took Orgo 1, which I feel like in the moment, I very much hated it here. It was very stressful. It was a lot of material, and I could not see how it was really applicable to like my future as a doctor. But now looking back on it, I do feel like I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I remember studying this section again for the MCAT. I actually found it kind of interesting because this was very much about functional groups and names of molecules and the foundation of really chemistry, if I would say. Like I feel like Gen Chem is like stupid, but Orgo was really cool. My professor was kind of chill. He was fine. He was adorable, I will say that, but it was fine. I'm honestly gonna say that she was pretty chill. We were struggling, but I can appreciate the subject of Orgo 1. That being said, Intro to Experimental Orgo, which is our Orgo lab, nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I will never be able to do chemistry research. Never. Ever, ever, ever. It was disgusting. That class caused me so many tears. Every time I was in the lab, I was so stressed. It was so hard for me to read the lab manual and follow instructions because I was so stressed. Tell me why water was so hard to work with in this lab. Like that stuff would be flying all over my hood. It was not a good time. I was always scared I was gonna burn myself with chemicals. I will say the one thing I enjoyed about this class was learning how to do TLC plating. I think that's what it is. That was like the only thing I found the slightest bit interesting. Everything else I hated. She gave me nightmares. I hope to never have to do that kind of thing ever again in my life. I hated her. I also took statistics. I took statistics in the psychology department because it would have been required for the psychology major. So I don't know how that would relate to taking statistics in like the bio department or in like the actual math department. But I thoroughly enjoyed statistics. I loved math. Math was my favorite subject in high school. But like the thing with college is that there's so much stress, especially being pre-med. There is so much stress of making sure that you can get an A in it that it is really hard to enjoy these classes because there's so much pressure. But statistics, we got to use cheat sheets on our test, which made the stress like non-existent. So I could literally enjoy doing math in this class, which was really exciting because I love math. And I also had a great professor. He was an adorable person. I took this class with my friend, so we had a great time. I would absolutely take statistics again. Last class I took this semester was Intro to Behavioral Neuroscience in the psychology department. This class was fine. See, this is where I really thrive. Neuroscience is, obviously, it's what I concentrated in, so it is my thing. So I thoroughly enjoyed this class. The only thing is I hated the professor. I just didn't vibe with him all that well, and also our exams were kind of weird in that like he didn't tell us what to expect our first exam, and it was all fill in the blank short answer. Like you needed to know every detail of that class in order to do well. Thankfully, I just like neuroscience, so I was fine because I really enjoyed what I was learning. So I was wanting to learn every detail. But yeah, it was just a weird class. I didn't vibe with him, so because of that, I'll say she was chill. She was pretty chill. Okay, second semester, sophomore year. So this, somewhere between first semester and second semester of sophomore year, I decided psychology is not quite for me. I really should be a bio major. I'm taking basically all of the bio major requirements because I'm pre-med. And like being a biology major would help me do what I want to do with my life if for some reason medical school doesn't happen. So I really decided, you know what, I should be a bio major. So this is when I completely changed majors, and I had to take some requirements that I probably would have taken like freshman year for the bio major. I've said major so many times in the last minute, but that's okay. So one such class was Intro to Evolutionary Bio and Diversity. Honestly, I'm gonna give it an This class, it was an easy A, I will say, which was really nice. But I don't care. I really don't care about evolution. And we had to memorize so many names of types of organisms and the freaking evolutionary tree going back to like the whatever it's called, like the very first common ancestor, and how that breaks down and all of the categories of organisms. I want to learn about people. People are the only organism that I care about. I could care less about archaea and about like tropozoans. Isn't that a thing? I can't even remember literally anything I learned in that class. But she was an easy A, so it was very low stress, which I appreciated. And all the professors were really chill. It wasn't a bad class by any means. It was just boring. This semester, I also took Elementary Arabic 2, so second language class. This semester, I had a completely different professor from the first semester, and honestly, it was hell. This class was literally a nightmare. I cried so many times because of this professor. She would make fun of me in class, and I was obviously struggling. Like, my big weakness when it comes to Arabic is pronunciation and conversing. Like, understanding what someone is saying to me and then having to come up with a reply is very difficult. I'm great at writing, I'm great at reading, I'm great at grammar, but like kind of stuff is very hard. So every time she would say something to me, I would really struggle because I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I can't understand what is happening. And then I would try to say something and I'd pronounce it wrong because I'm not used to making the sounds in the Arabic language. Like, that's really hard. And every time she would laugh at me, and it caused me so much pain. It caused me so much stress. I hated her so much. Oh my goodness. So unfortunately, she kind of tanked my interest in learning Arabic, which is really, really sad because I really enjoyed my first semester. And then to have like the complete opposite experience second semester, it was such a pain in my butt. Next class was Intro to Neuroscience. And I know what you're thinking. Taylor, didn't you take that last semester? I did. So this class, Intro to Neuroscience, is a requirement for the neurobiology concentration. And I tried to get out of it. I tried to tell people, like, I basically took this class last semester in the psych department. Do I have to take it this semester in the bio department? And they were like, yeah, you do. So I basically took this class twice. I'm gonna give this one an eh, because the one thing I did not like about this class is it was taught by about 10 different professors, and they would come in, teach for like a week in their like special area, and then leave. It was very hard to adapt to so many professors' teaching styles within one semester and within one class that was really, really annoying. So I'll give it an eh. I also took Orgo 2. This class gave me nightmares. This professor is the worst professor I've ever had. Homie did not teach us anything. He really would just come in, tell us about his life while drawing like mechanisms on the board, and then we would be done. Like, we basically copied mechanisms and learned about this guy's like life and the trips that he's been on and all of this stuff. So that was very stressful. This one I feel like was less applicable to like other things. It was really just like memorize what happens in the Diels-Alder reaction and then be able to draw the mechanism if you're given like a starting product or an end product. This class I feel truly has no relevance to my career as a doctor. I don't think I will ever have to know the mechanism of creating a chemical. We were not vibing in this class. This class also caused me a lot of pain. Also, my exams, like I said, my exams were very much like, this is your starting material, this is your end material, draw how you would get there. And so it was basically like a puzzle. It wasn't even like really testing me on what I learned in the class, because he would just give us random things that we've never seen before. I'm just like drawing arrows and adding like hydrogens in random places. So she was not fun at all. That was a very stressful class. I did not enjoy her at all. But it's fine. She's done. I was so happy when that class was done. Oh my goodness. I also took my second PE requirement because I wanted her out of the way because I don't do PE. So I took yoga, thinking it would be an easy class. Turns out I have no balance at all. So I really struggled with it, which is sad. My body just doesn't move in that way. Probably because I don't exercise and I'm out of shape. And I could probably get my body to move that way. But like, I had to wake up really early in the morning to do it. It was okay. I'll say, eh. It was fine. probably will never do yoga again. It got the requirement out of the way, and that is what matters. Last class I took was developmental psych, because at this point, my brain said, I know I am now a bio major, but like maybe I could do a psych minor. Didn't end up doing that, but I was still taking psych classes because I mean, psych is also very interesting. So like I wasn't mad that I was taking psych classes, but I still did. So I took developmental psych, which is about babies and how babies learn things. So honestly, it was kind of an interesting class. Like parts of it were really interesting and parts of it were really boring, but I do feel like I learned quite a bit. So I'll say she was chill. She was pretty chill. The professor was very nice. I spaced out for most of the classes, but yeah, she was fine, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna end the video there. So those were my first 2 years at Cornell, all of the classes I've taken. Honestly, we have a pretty decent spread. I have a lot more classes that were incredible. I'm kind of surprised by this because I feel like going through each class, like you're just so immersed in the stress of Cornell and of college in general and of being pre-med that it's really hard to enjoy what you're doing, in my opinion. So I'm glad I can look back on things and be like, wow, these classes were actually not as bad as I probably thought they were in the moment. But we definitely do have our fair share of me hating Cornell, so like, it's fine. That is all for this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you know everything to do. And I will see you in my next video where I discuss my junior and senior years. Peace.